A routine flight turned into a nightmare at 30,000 feet. Passengers were preparing for landing, seatbelts were tightened, cabin lights they were dimmed. Most travelers they were resting, waiting to reach their destination, but for one woman sitting inside that aircraft, the final minutes of the journey became a moment that she would never forget. You're watching TimesXP. It's me, Dhritiyatri, and very embarrassingly, I'm going to narrate this incident that happened on a domestic flight inside the United States. The aircraft was traveling from Rhode Island to Washington. Everything appeared pretty normal until a disturbing accusation surfaced that shook investigators and aviation authorities as well. According to the court documents, the woman was sitting next to a passenger identified as Varun Arora, a 38-year-old Indian national. The two were strangers, just like most passengers sharing airline seats across the world. But what really happened during that flight, it changed everything. The woman later told authority that she had fallen asleep during the journey. That's pretty natural. But when the aircraft began its final descent, she suddenly woke up, but not because of any sort of turbulence, not because of landing announcement. She woke up because she felt somebody was touching her inappropriately. Well, court records state that she alleged that Aurora was grabbing her. Well, the situation, according to prosecutors, became even more disturbing because investigators claimed that accused was wearing a sleep mask at that point of time, creating the impression that he was asleep. But the woman, she reported something crucial here. She allegedly tried to push his hand away more than once. Yet, according to official statement, the unwanted contact, it continued again and again inside a crowded aircraft with dozens of passengers around and very limited place to escape here. Now, if you see it, then aviation incidents like this, they are taken extremely seriously in the US because crimes committed on flights, they fall under federal jurisdiction, which basically means that national investigative agencies, they can step in. And in that case, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, launched the probe. Investigators collected evidence, spoke to the witnesses there, and reviewed the flight details. The case eventually reached a federal court in Virginia where prosecutors presented their arguments. And after legal proceeding, Varun Arora was convicted on charges linked to abusive contact and assault on board an aircraft. But the legal story does not end there. Conviction is the only part that is up front. The final punishment has not yet been decided, though a federal judge is expected to determine sentencing after reviewing the US legal guidelines and factors. And according to legal provinces, he could face up to 2 years in prison. Also, another detail from this case is also attracting a lot of attention. Authorities stated that the accused, he was allegedly living in the US without lawful immigration status at the time of the incident. Now, which could really complicate legal outcomes further depending on court's decision and immigration enforcement prosecutors. In the end, this incident is also raising a bigger global discussion about passenger safety during flights. Air travel is often considered one of the safest transportation methods. But cases involving harassment or assault on board, they are extremely sensitive because victims, they are confined inside a limited space with very few immediate escape options. So here's the bigger question about accountability and prevention. How can airlines ensure safer environment for the passengers? How can crew members detect suspicious behavior early? And how can passengers be better protected during long journeys?